Today I want to tell you something about piranhas, because these fish have a reputation that often sounds far more dramatic than reality, yet they possess an impressive combination of speed, precision, and sensitivity to every movement in the water, making them some of the most alert and efficient hunters in their rivers. Their behavior also shows that they do not attack randomly, but carefully evaluate when an opportunity is truly worth it, reminding us that even animals with dangerous image are often much more complex than they appear at first glance. When you observe piranhas in their natural habitat, you quickly notice that their groups follow an astonishing order, because each fish reacts instantly to the movements of the others, creating a hunting behavior that is not chaotic but highly coordinated and gives them remarkable efficiency. At the same time, their constant alertness shows that they are not only hunters but also cautious prey, since many dangers lurk in the rivers of the Amazon, forcing them to decide every second whether to attack, flee, or remain still, turning their world into a continuous balancing act. A closer look at their anatomy reveals that their teeth are not only sharp but perfectly shaped, because they interlock like tiny blades and allow piranhas to cut through even tough structures quickly, giving them a decisive advantage in a tour. Their strong body structure also shows that they are not only fast swimmers but persistent pursuers who can hold their position even in strong currents, making them some of the most stable and reliable hunters in their turbulent home waters. In the end, you realize that piranhas are far more than their reputation suggests, because they are precise, cautious, social, and perfectly adapted to their environment, making them fascinating inhabitants of the rivers that you only truly understand when you view their world with calm and respect. And this combination of strength, instinct, and subtle perception shows us that even animals with dangerous image often possess a quiet elegance that becomes visible only when we meet them without prejudice and appreciate their role in the ecosystem. When you look more closely at the world of piranhas, you realize that their strength is not only in their teeth, but in their ability to react instantly to changes in the water, because every small movement, every shadow, and every current is detected and evaluated, making them exceptionally alert inhabitants of their rivers. Their way of hunting also shows that they do not attack blindly, but often wait patiently until the right moment arrives, revealing that their intelligence and instinct form a finely tuned unity that becomes clear only when you observe their world calmly. Why? In the dense plant zones of the Amazon, piranhas behave surprisingly cautiously, because larger predators lurk there, forcing them to constantly decide whether to hide, glide slowly, or push away in a sudden burst, showing that their lives consist far more of caution than aggression. At the same time, you notice that their groups are not chaotic but follow a quiet order, because each fish keeps a certain distance and reacts to the others, creating a cooperation that greatly increases their chances of survival and gives them remarkable stability. Their body shape is perfectly adapted to the current, because a strong front section and narrow rear part allow them to glide through the water with minimal effort, enabling them to accelerate instantly whenever an opportunity arises that they want to take. Their musculature also shows that they are not only capable of short bursts, but can travel longer distances, making them some of the most enduring and adaptable hunters in the vast river systems of the our home. In the end, you realize that piranhas possess a fascinating balance of caution, strength, and subtle perception, because they are neither random attackers nor pure escape animals, but beings that make their decisions with remarkable precision, revealing how complex life in the water truly is. And this combination of instinct and adaptation makes them one of the most interesting animals of the Amazon, because anyone who views them without prejudice quickly sees that behind their reputation lies a quiet elegance that becomes visible only when approached with respect. When you observe piranhas in the quieter side channels of the river, you notice that they show completely different behavior there, because in these calm areas they glide slowly and attentively through the water, as if examining every tiny change before deciding whether to move forward or remain in cover. These moments reveal that they are not only fast hunters, but also cautious observers who perceive their surroundings with remarkable sensitivity, proving that their lives are far more complex than their reputation suggests. S. During times when food is scarce, piranhas often work more closely together because their groups form a kind of moving unit in which each fish watches the others and adjusts to their movements, creating behavior that appears not aggressive but surprisingly coordinated. And at the same time, this cooperation shows that they do not act randomly but adapt their decisions to the conditions of the river, allowing them to remain efficient even in difficult times and use their energy wisely. Sally, when larger animals cross the river, piranhas often react with a mix of curiosity and caution because they must instantly assess whether danger is present or whether an opportunity arises that they can use, showing how precisely their instinct operates. This ability to decide within seconds whether to approach or retreat is one of the reasons why they are so successful in their environment, because they waste no energy and act only when it truly makes sense. In the end, you realize that piranhas are not defined only by their teeth, but by their ability to adapt to every situation, because they respond to current sounds, shadows, and movements with precision that becomes clear only when you observe them calmly. And this combination of adaptation, caution, and strength makes them fascinating inhabitants of the Amazon, showing us that even animals with a dangerous reputation possess a quiet and complex side that becomes visible only when approached without prejudice. When you ask whether piranhas attack humans, you quickly realize that their reputation is far more dramatic than their actual behavior, because these fish do not see humans as prey but react only to clear signals such as blood or strong disturbance in the water, showing that they are much more cautious than many stories suggest. This understanding reveals that piranhas do not act randomly but carefully evaluate their decisions, because they first check whether a situation is truly safe before approaching, proving that their behavior is based on instinct and caution rather than blind aggression. And, in most cases, piranhas avoid humans because they quickly recognize that large bodies are not suitable prey for them, and so they keep their distance as long as there are no unusual stimuli such as blood or injured animals in the water, showing that they are more reserved than dangerous. Only when blood enters the water or an injured animal is nearby do they become more active, because such signals indicate a possible food source. Yet even then they first assess whether the situation is safe before acting, highlighting their remarkable call. Tie-in. When humans receive small bites on their feet or toes, it is usually because piranhas are curious or detect minor skin injuries. But these bites are rare and not life-threatening, showing that their behavior is based more on exploration than attack. These moments reveal that piranhas do not intentionally attack humans, but only react when they receive a clear signal, making it clear that their reputation as dangerous attackers does not match reality. In the end, you realize that piranhas are far more complex in their dramatic image because they act cautiously, examine every situation, and respond only when they detect a real opportunity, showing that they are not monsters but precise opportunists who weigh their decisions artfully. And this combination of caution, instinct, and self-perception makes them fascinating inhabitants of the Amazon, teaching us that even animals with a dangerous reputation often possess a quiet and controlled side that becomes visible only when approached without prejudice. When you continue exploring the world of piranhas, you realize that their behavior depends strongly on the conditions of the river, because depending on the current, light, and sound, they react with different levels of alertness, showing that they do not act impulsively, but carefully examine every situation before making a decision. This ability to constantly adapt to changing circumstances reveals how finely tuned their senses are, because they detect even the smallest changes and respond with precision that becomes clear only when you observe their world with patience and respect. During times when the river is particularly calm, piranhas glide slowly and focus through the water, using these moments to examine their surroundings and identify possible dangers or opportunities, showing that they are not uncontrolled attackers, but animals that use their energy wisely. At the same time, this behavior highlights that they are not only hunters, but cautious inhabitants of their ecosystem who know exactly when it is wise to act and when it is better to retreat, placing their reputation as dangerous animals in a completely different perspective. Tithe, when the river becomes restless or many animals are moving around, piranhas react with increased alertness because they must instantly decide whether a situation is safe or whether they should withdraw, showing how strongly their behavior is shaped by instinct and experience. These moments reveal that they do not react blindly to movement, but weigh every decision carefully, making it clear that their behavior is far more complex than many stories suggest, and that they are, in truth, highly controlled. Animals. In the end, I want to say that piranhas are fascinating creatures that deserve far more respect than their reputation suggests because they are cautious, precise, and perfectly adapted to their world. And that is why I am grateful if you support my channel by leaving a like, subscribing, and maybe activating the bell, because this way you won't miss anything, and I thank you sincerely for your time.